question today from a subscriber, Brandon. How do you survive a toxic work environment and how do you excel in a positive work environment? Actually, Brandon gave me this question a couple months ago and I've been struggling with how to capture it in a 8 to 10 minute video, but I think I've got something good for you here today. Hey, I worked at a company called Alcoa, big manufacturing company, made aluminum, heavy industry, a couple thousand people at the plant. Worked there for 32 years, and I would never state that I worked in a toxic work environment. Credit to Alcoa and the people there, But yes, I had some pretty bad bosses. I've had some pretty bad upper management people, micromanagement without experience, didn't know what they were talking about. People took the short-term view, results this month over months, over results in the year and the next 5 years. I've had bosses where your success was measured by how you reduced headcount, how many cigarette butts you picked up, or did they find on a tour. One, his success of you was judged on your athletic ability. I'm not making that one up. If you ran marathons, you were physically fit, you were really passionate about fitness and nutrition, you got promoted, regardless of your results at the plant and your experience. Saw it. No partnership between engineering, maintenance, and production. You're just managing by KPIs, and the boss is beating those into your head. And it's really driving a wedge between departments instead of looking for team activity. An example, hey, driving planned work percentage. Hey, you beat maintenance on planned work percentage, and what happens is you beat them so hard, they inflate the time to conduct a job. So they get all the planned work done for next week, but they should have got 20 things done. They only actually got 10 done because they just inflated the hours to get it done. And OEE of the asset is going down, down, and down, and overtime is going up and up. So the overtime KPI for operations looks bad, and the production planned or maintenance work planned work compliance is going up. KPIs can be dangerous. You've heard that too from me several times. So, I've also worked for great bosses. Vast majority of the time I did work for great bosses that took the long view on initiatives like reliability. These leaders, one of the key characteristics is they filtered demands, dictator statements from upper management. They filtered through those and said, we're going to do this one, we're not going to do this one, I'm going to manage that as the boss, I'm going to manage the ones we're not going to do. An example is, hey, you guys got to cut your quarterly spend, when it's the last 4 weeks of the quarter, by $2 million. And we got to have 10 more headcount cuts by the end of the quarter. Things like that. I was on those phone calls that my boss would manage for me. Did an excellent job. I'm going to dive into 4 examples a little further, things that I was actually a part of. This is Joe Kuhn of Lean-Driven Reliability, bridging the gap between best practices that you should be doing, how to do, you've read about this stuff, but you can't figure out how to do it in your culture. So, toxic example number 1, short-term focus. Zero tolerance for not making month-over-month results in improvement. What's my survival technique? Hey folks, do the right thing. Do the right thing. What, as a reliability engineer, as a maintenance leader, as a production leader, do the right thing. The boss typically in these situations has limited knowledge of the details of reliability. And we're talking about reliability. So you can fairly easy explain shortfalls by focusing on some larger events. For example, real example, overspent by $100,000 in a particular month. What happened? Hey, you could easily talk about an HF, which is a chemical, that you had some problems with that month that you did have to spend $120,000 on. So, hey, that explains the $100,000 shortfall. You wrap that up into safety. It's a huge safety issue dealing with this chemical. But what did I not talk about? It's not a lie. I did not tell them a lie. That was $120,000 of unexpected expenses this month. But I didn't talk about the things that went right that month. I didn't talk about all the positives that were going good. And I did not talk about the investments I was making in the PDM team by buying them equipment, getting them certification, establishing routes, getting consultants in to work with them on deploying our PDM technology, trying to go from 2% up to 20% of our work from PDM. Didn't talk about that. Fairly easy to talk about big events, that, especially when you wrap them in safety or in quality. Talk about those big events and allows you to make the right long-term goal. Now you can't string together too many months like this. I'd say you can have 2 bad months like this max. And actually, a positive that came out of this culture of month-over-month improvement is my company, Lean-Driven Reliability. That's why I combined the concepts of lean with reliability to drive results faster. That's 100% of the reason, out of desperation, out of this short-term focus, that I created this concept, and which has led to me retiring and starting this business. Okay, so positive came out of that one, right? Toxic example number 2, no partnership between maintenance and engineering and production. They're driving KPIs, driving that wedge between the groups, not basing it on reality. They're driving KPIs, and do you have the processes in place? One specific, I joined a company 3 years into a reliability journey. Good stuff. I was actually in charge of production. Excellent training and process deployment at this plant. We're doing all this stuff right. You come into a planning meeting and it was checking every best practice box for you. External auditors came in from our consultant and gave us the second best score they've ever given for a reliability assessment. But I was a production manager. I was the go and see guy. The equipment was not seeing the care that the KPIs were highlighting, just not seeing it. As an example, 95% PM compliance. And I was routinely seeing bearings not greased, shafts not aligned, unplanned maintenance, unplanned downtime was hidden in overtime numbers. So my numbers were going crazy. I was working Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving, working all these because of the poor performance of the assets, and all the KPIs were getting better, okay? Now, I highlighted these gaps, I'm a person that likes debate, is not afraid of conflict, and debate makes us better. Let's come up with a decision that we both like and both live with once we get all the facts on the table. And the fact was, the equipment was not seeing the reliability that was in the KPIs. Case closed, everybody knew it. Everybody in production knew this. Maintenance people really knew it too, but the leader of maintenance did not. Now, I highlighted these gaps, and actually, I got called into my boss's office and said I wasn't a team player. He was slapping me around and telling me I wasn't doing a good job, and I wasn't fitting into the culture. And we argued a little bit. I didn't keep my mouth shut. But the next day I came in and I went into my boss and I said, I'd like to switch roles with that individual. Give me all the maintenance and engineering and to have that person take production. And my boss, for whatever reason, made that change. Upset the maintenance manager, but boss made that change. It was a game changer. Game changer for the operation, okay? Let's see. We got dramatic results. Dramatic results in OEE. Our costs were actually, all of our KPIs were going up, and all of our costs were going up at the same time, and our OEE data was going down. We actually reversed all those trends, and we won a corporate award 2 years later for our dramatic results on the business. And got to give our a speech of what we did with reliability to the whole corporation. It was really combining, you always stand on the shoulders of giants in these roles, but we had good training, good procedures in place, but we just did not link that go and see. We did not link the results with the behaviors and actions we were taking. As soon as we married those two, the results went up. And it starts with go and see culture, folks. It absolutely does. Toxic example number 3, no partnership. This is, kind of just another example on no partnership. This one, I kind of titled finger pointing. The number one complaint of a production leader of maintenance is what? It's giving up a piece of equipment for 24 hours and only seeing maintenance work on it for 6 hours. I'm pushed for every pound of production, every part count of production I can get. I give it up to maintenance for 24 hours, and that's painful. And I'm only seeing them working on it for 6 hours. That really upsets production people. And production people often say, hey, I see these guys, they run around really quick when it's unplanned downtime. So I'd rather risk having unplanned downtime and have the people work on it very aggressively because they have a sense of urgency. I'd rather take that 6 hours of downtime in unplanned downtime. There's fallacies in that. I'm not going to go into it, but that's the mindset. What should you do as the maintenance leader? Should you just keep complaining that outages are being canceled? No. Become the Indy pit crew, Indianapolis 500 pit crew. Hold the downtime as precious. That 24 hours you're given, make it precious. Hey, if they won't give me 24, ask for 12 and then require your planners to anticipate wrench time detractors, anticipate problems, kit, stage, and do an autopsy on how efficient that 12 hours went. I promise you, if you have a 12-hour outage, that your people are out there for 11 hours and they're doing productive work and they're knocking off 2-3 times the number of projects that they were doing, you're going to have a partnership pretty darn quick. That builds positive experiences, which leads to trust of the asset owners. Okay, and the asset owners need to own reliability. That's a whole separate video. But start with yourself, what you can do. Don't just say, production's not giving me the asset. Are you taking your wrench time from 10% to 90%, to 50% during outages? Are you doing everything you can? Most of the time, you're not. Positive culture number 4. This is example number 4, first positive culture example. How do you thrive in a positive culture? Here's the biggest problem I see that people realize in a positive culture. They stop selling reliability. Reliability is, it's very hard to hang on to a reliability culture. A negative culture for reliability is just a boss away, just a business cycle away from you. You've got to keep selling the positive aspects of reliability. That's monthly newsletters. That's the weekly emails of, hey, here's a positive find we found with PDM, or here's a positive TPM find. Whatever those are, you got to constantly be reinforcing those. You got to have that go and see culture in good times and in bad, to see failures, to see positive things going on, because you're just a boss or a business cycle away from things going south and people saying, hey, maybe we have too many planners. Maybe we need to lay off reliability engineers. Maybe we need to put a pause on a reliability effort. No, you have to show that it is the waste elimination engine. Safety, here's an analogy for you. Safety never takes a day off from reinforcement. Never a day off. Reliability needs to be the exact same way. Never a day off from pushing the reliability agenda. Okay, hey folks, begin your journey. This stuff isn't that hard. Send me a note if you got a question. Take a look at my book. Oh man, it's a link below. I'm getting a lot of, I probably have sold 150 copies so far. I've given away probably 70 so far. So if I can help in any way, let me know. I guarantee you I can shave years off of your deployment. And this is Joe out.